All right, so what you should have now, based on your walk around the room, is a comparison of all the different groups with the exception of your own. You should have your own in your head pretty well. From your descriptions and the things that you just wrote down, you should be able to look at each lab group, look at their height, because we have that data, and decide what's good, what are the strengths of that tower, what are the weaknesses, what could have been done to improve that tower. You also should have been looking at how they were alike and how they were different, because while you all kind of like honed in on the same basic structure, there were some similarities and differences between each of them, and that's what made some of them taller, that's what made some of them structurally stand a little better than others. Now, if you look at this lab paper, the third bullet on here says procedures. You write a step-by-step explanation of how you built your tower. It should be written well enough that someone else could take your tower lab report and build the same tower. So based on your instruction, I should be able to walk across to Mrs. Bear's room and pick just about any freshman from that room, and they should be able to come over and use those supplies and build your tower. One of the things I kept saying to you as you were building is, you might want to take some measurements, you might want to write some things down, you might want to keep a step-by-step list. I didn't observe very many of you doing that, I don't think. So now what you need to do is take that tower, and you need to start from whatever, I don't know what your starting point was. Most of you started by building the base. So you need to take that tower, you need to actually make your measurements and think about what you did first, and write a procedure, just like one I would give you if I were telling you to do something in lab. And by the way that you write that and how well written it is, I should be able to build your tower. It should be that clear. It should have your measurements. It should have your numbers. There's a reason we start with this one, because it's pretty easy. Well, maybe you weren't that successful in the end. That's okay. The idea is to get the process down, so later on, when we build something more substantial that has a real goal of moving or something like that, you have the idea of working through the steps and thinking the process out. Now, before you start that, do you have questions for me? Okay, so let's move to our own lab station and let's start that process.